Alright guys, super quick video just now. What I'm planning on doing is tomorrow morning I'm going out with my dad. He's doing some photography and I'm going to take my Spartan out. So we're going to go up to a beach, not the same one as I've been using recently, but it's in a sort of area sort of up the coast a little bit. So I'm going to bring the Spartan, which hasn't been out for a little while. So today I'm going to grease the shaft. I'm going to do that with yous. I'm going to check the operation of all the controls and just give it a general going over before it goes back in the water, because it's been a wee bit of a while now. And tomorrow, all going well, we'll get the camera on it, the drone out, and just try and get a lot of footage of this thing in action. It's an absolute beast flying machine. It's just insane boat. So the area I'm getting as well, I should be able to push it a bit harder than normal, because I was checking the tide and how the sort of water is. So if it does flip or anything goes wrong, I should be able to get quite far out in the water, which will be fun for you to watch, not fun for me to do. But fingers crossed it won't happen. But if anything goes for the bad, I'll be able to recover the boat fairly easy. Because that's the one downside with the Spartan over some of its rivals, is it's a lovely boat, looks amazing, goes fast, but it's got no self-right on it. So if you flip it or anything like that, the only way to get it is either wait for the tide to come in, hopefully it's not going out, or go and recover it yourself. So yeah, we'll start that just now. I'll show you how I take the shaft out, how I do it and that. I mean, the guys that have got boats will know exactly what's happening, but I'll just go through the process of how I do things with this boat. Right, first things first, what we'll do is we'll remove the hood, just put that forward a touch, stick that there, and I'm going to take the shaft out first for the propeller shaft. So I'll zoom this in to show you. As you can see, there's too much of a zoom. If you see there, obviously we've got the two nuts, they're 210mm, so the bolt comes with a Traxxas 10mm one here, and I've got one of my own sort of spanners out my socket set here, 10mm, and basically stick this on, get this one here, and it shouldn't be too tight because I think I've had it off before. It'll pull off, and I'll probably do the rest of my fingers. There we go, take that out. So this is the most important thing, you've really got this lubricated up. If I remember last time I took the boat, I always kind of clean it off again and leave it dry till I'm going out, just get all the dirty oil off. So I'll zoom out again. So you can see this is a propeller rod here. So basically you've got your propeller on it, which I've still got the stock one on, no nicks or anything in it, in great condition. And you want to keep this lubed up because this gets really hot. I mean, the speed this is turning round is insane, and it can end up getting brittle and cracking and breaking or whatever. And this little end here, it basically just goes in the coupling and it compresses on, and that's what holds it onto the motor. So when the motor's spinning, there we go, your propeller's spinning. Obviously a lot straighter in the tube than what I'm showing you, but that's as simple as it is, nice and easy. Right, now that's out, like I said, I've cleaned it off before, but we'll just give it an extra wipe down, get all the old junk off it. And what I'm still using is, because the boat's not out a lot, I've still got my original tubby Traxxas marine grease, but any marine grease would do. So what we'll do is we'll put, not a crazy coating, but you still want it quite heavy-ish, so basically run along here all the way up the shaft, just spin it round as I go. Pretty messy stuff this, you'd probably better wearing gloves, but being the tradesman that I am, gloves are just something I don't bother with. Hands are always dirty and minging anyway, so don't really lose any sleep over that. There we go, there's some grease on it there. So while I've got that just now, I'll just turn the boat and I'll show you what's happening. So this is where the shaft enters, and here you can see there's a little sort of bush in there, and you want to try and get the oil, or the grease, to go all the way up. So you kind of have to give it a twisting motion when you're putting it in. So you start off, try and stick it in there, and just really take your time. I mean, I've probably got too much grease, but you can see if you twist it with a thread, you can kind of see the grease starts going up the shaft. So it looks pretty messy, which it is, but it does definitely go up the shaft if you keep just doing it nice and slow. There's no hurry to do this. just really take your time. I prefer to do this just at nights before I go out, so I know everything's good in the morning, especially in the water. Peace of mind, because if you got a car and anything goes wrong or isn't quite right, you can always go collect it. Boat's just a bit more complicated. So you can see that oozing in just now. We'll go all the way in, try and do it a little bit faster than I normally do, just purely for the video. A bit boring watching this going in all the way. But although it's turning into a big blob at the end with the sort of turning motion, it is sucking it in as it goes. What I'll do is I'll just speed this up now so you guys don't have to wait and just stare at me turning a bit of metal for ages. I mean, it's not the most exciting video I've ever done anyway, so it'll be even less exciting watching this for the whole time. Right, now that's almost in, we'll just take the grease away. Kind of a bit of waste there. I have went a bit too crazy with it, but it's only grease, it's not the most expensive thing. More's better than not enough. And we'll get this right in, so hold the boat butt again so you can see that's as far in as it goes. Just spin it a bit more and you can see that grease is making a little seal at the back as well. And we'll take that off. Right, now we know the rod's right in, right up to the end. So I've just put this up finger tight and we'll give it a little nip up where we don't have to go crazy, so stick one of the spanners on to hold against. Get the other 10mm spanner on here. Just give it a little couple of turns. Not a lot of space in here, but still is plenty to do the job. So there we go, feel it biting now, so give it tight and maybe just a little quarter turn extra. Same as I do with plumbing fittings or whatever I'm working on heating, I always sort of do that with compression nuts. So there we go, that's pretty solid tight, it won't go any more crazy than that. If we turn the propeller, you can see it's all going. So the next bit I'll do off camera is just kind of something obvious but can easily be overlooked, is I'll check these grub screws are still tight, all the screws inside here, do all that, and also we'll check the rudder screws and basically anything that can potentially come loose, we'll check all that. And probably no point, but since I've got a bit of extra grease here, I'll put a bit of grease up on this little bush. And finally, with these basic checks, so you've got how the boat works is when the propeller's going, the motor's going, it's sucking water up the rudder, which comes along here. Then, as you can see, if you follow this hose, which is this one here right along, it goes in, cools the ESC, so that's a water cooled ESC, and that comes back out of there. Then the same water comes through round that jacket on the motor, cools the motor, then it gets kicked out this little port here. So when you watch the boat going, you'll see the water spraying out there when it's running, so that's the cooling water coming out. There's a little blast coming out the side. I think there's upgrades you can get in different modifications for cooling, because this is a one pipe cooling system which basically does the ESC and the motor all in one. Whereas I think there's modded upgrades you can get where you get a sort of twin pipe and a different jacket, so you're getting more water in to potentially cool it down a lot more. But I don't run the boat for crazy amounts of time, and if I do, I don't go full speed a lot anyway with it, so I just kind of monitor that. But the standard jacket, as far as I've had so far, there's been no issues. I've heard people having small leaks out it and the boat's slowly filling up with water, but mine's been all good so far, touch wood. Right, now I've went over all the nuts and bolts, everything feels good, everything looks good, nothing's slack. What I'll do is I'll get this battery, I'll just use a 4S1, and I've got the little link in here just so I can put one battery on for testing. And the reason I've got tape round there is when I run this, I usually put tape round both sides, so what happens is one time I was out, vibration and one of the batteries pulled out and the boat stopped in the water, so if I tape them up there's less chance of it actually pulling out when it's running. So we'll get this on, we'll get the 4 beeps because we're on the 4S. I've got the controller on. This one here I've got the Bluetooth module for the phone app, but I don't really use it. I've just I think I had that from XO1. I stuck it in there, and to me, other than setting up the boat initially, it's kind of a waste of time. So you can see there, the rudder's working good. Then we've got the propeller, so not go crazy with that just now, but everything's turning well there, and the boat seems ready to go. So that whole process literally takes about 15 minutes to do, nice and easy, but it's definitely worth doing before you put a boat in the water every single time. So I'll get my batteries charged for tomorrow, my drone charged and my GoPros, and yeah, we'll get the video up tomorrow for you guys to see. Catch you later, have a good one, bye.